Hello, everybody. It's great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, president, founder of GST Get Shit Done Venture Studios, premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for 1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company I co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe at GST that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. Today, we're going to be talking about at Top Global Startups. We're going to be talking about visionary founders who are redefining entire industry through technology. Today, specifically, we're going to be diving into something that sounds like science fiction, but it's already becoming a reality. Fully autonomous robotic restaurants. What happens when machine learning, robotics, data science, and food operations collide? What if your next quick service meal is prepared without a single on site employee? Yet it's fresher, faster, and more consistent. Joining us today is Nipun Sharma, co founder and CEO of Appetronix, with over 17 years worth of leadership experience in restaurant operations, food manufacturing, even a background on Wall Street. Nippon is building a new operating system for dining. This isn't just about automation, it's about redefining labor models, supply chains, margins, and the entire customer experience. So, with that, I'd like to bring Nippon to the show. Hi, Nippon.
Hi, Gary. Happy to be here.
So, what problem in the restaurant industry made you say this system is broken? We need to rebuild it from ground up.
I don't know where to get started, Gary. It's a tough industry. I personally feel that every human being at some point in their lives has thought about starting again a restaurant or investing in a restaurant. And as we all know, it's a very dangerous industry, high failure rate, because cooking is actually a small part of what you need to do. So it's an industry that's, it's there's a lot of competition. Somebody can open up a shop in front of you, sell the same food for 10 cents less, take half your business away. Food costs keep going up, labor costs keep going up. In the last decade, I would say that it's not just the cost of labor, it's the reliability of labor. It's just a job that most people don't want. Which is kind of interesting because this is an industry that people love. People love ordering food. People like their favorite brands. So the sales in many ways are steady or going up, but the margins are shrinking. So between shrinking margins, between unreliable labor, it's a tough business to operate. Then you add a few things like, hey, environment sustainability, let's emit less carbon dioxide, let's make operations 24/7. There's so many stretching every aspect of our business that you start to wonder, well, is this the way going forward, or will something come and transform the industry? So we looked at transformation specifically for the quick service restaurant industry. I think the world is divided into two. There's that experiential restaurant you want to go to, the favorite chef you have, celebrate with friends and family, and then there's functional food. Driving in my car, drive through, order ahead, pick up, work while eating lunch, and that's about $1 trillion industry worldwide. So we decided that the impact that automation and AI can have is going to be very profound in the quick service industry. So that became our focus.
So, how did your background in investment banking and in private equity shape how you think about restaurant automation?
So I come from four generations of chefs. I'm the first non-chef in my family in four generations. I'm also colorblind, so if you ask me to cook chicken, you're really, taking a big risk with your life. So I did have a background in the industry for generations, so there was an attachment personally. Of course, I didn't start my life that way. After graduation, I went straight to Wall Street, working in investment banking, mergers and acquisitions, fun stuff. And so, looking at my family background, looking at my personal background, I figured that I could sort of take the industry in a slightly different way. Bit of an outsider because I'm not a chef, I'm not a cook. I approached the industry with, can somebody like me with little training produce great food? Can we use great equipment? Can we use great systems? Can we do it consistently on a chain level? So one approach was, hey, take some of my background, take some of my outsider perspective. At the same time, from investment banking and private equity, can I make this into a reliable business model that can be scaled up, that could attract investors? So putting all those hats together, I delved into the industry a little over 2 decades ago. And since then, I've been an entrepreneur. I've been a public company CEO. I've expanded all kinds of brands from quick service to fine dining all over the world. Either creating new brands, reviving old brands, growing old brands, and really getting into every aspect of the business, including a food production facility, to understand how restaurants could get fed from the back by streamlining certain operations and making the on-site operations easier for employees to navigate.
You've operated more than 10 restaurant brands. What operational pain points don't most people see?
I think most people get frustrated by certain restaurant experiences. It could be your product consistency, it could be how quickly you get served, it's how the portion control is done, how quality control is done. And while it's easy to sort of pick and choose and point out certain things that could have been better, but the reality is that there's so many things going on any given moment in time in the restaurant industry that it's easy to neglect one aspect. So each of these aspects by itself should be taken care of, but holistically, there's way too many moving parts. And a store owner, general manager, kitchen staff, they have hard pressed to keep control and track of everything. So I think the part that gets often neglected in restaurants is that last interaction with the customer. The customer is expecting the food to be delivered on a certain time, certain quality, certain consistency, and certain visual appeal. And I think as operators get overwhelmed by all the things, imagine you start your restaurant, equipment isn't working, your key staff didn't show up. So going through that overwhelming experiences day in and day out, I think a lot of customers forget that it's not as easy as it seems. And it's a tough business. So again, coming back to the fact that a lot of people get into it thinking it's about, yeah, I make the best lasagna, I'm going to open an Italian restaurant. Well, cooking is going to be not even in top 10 problems when you start your morning. And that part, I think, gets a bit overwhelmed and overlooked by customers because from their perspective, hey, simple man, I ordered food, how come it's not here?
When did robotics move from an interesting idea to inevitable future in your mind, Nipun?
One part of it is intuitive. I can't find employees, and the employees have a very simple job. Cut some lettuce, put a bowl together, add things. Because we managed to make our restaurants quite simple, especially on a chain level. Like our sauces come ready-made, our chicken comes pre-cooked. So it's a very mechanical process for employees to execute. Because remember, in a restaurant, we had that 1 hour rush for lunch, that 1 hour rush for dinner. We open 18 hours a day, but we really concentrated in executing in 2 or 3 hours a day. How do we make our kitchen operations adaptable to that reality? So a lot of the process is simplified. A lot of the employee workload is very mechanical. So when you look at these two things intuitively, you're like, hey, if I have to just chop things and move things, robot makes sense. It can supply these simple instructions and have it done because we provide these simple instructions to a human being.
From your perspective, well, a couple of things. I want to start with this. What does fully autonomous actually mean in the context of your company?
That's a key question, Gary. I think the first generation of food robotics companies that came out last 6, 7 years ago, and they raised a ton of money. They kind of tried to do what I just said. Hey, let me take a robotic arm and replicate the human experience. These companies didn't quite make it, but the reality is that the human arm is 1,000 times more efficient than a robotic arm. It's also multitasking. There's no one person flipping a burger or doing one simplistic task. It's a multitasking environment. So when we looked at robotics and automation, we didn't look at how do I replicate Gordon Ramsay's hand movement for chopping an onion. We didn't look at human beings for any inspiration. We thought the best way to take advantage and push the boundaries of robotics, automation, and AI is to reimagine the entire back of the house. How do we take raw materials? How do we go to finished products? How do we use the best in automation? So our inspiration was not human beings and human kitchens. The closest inspiration we had was food production factories, because that's what we are. We're a miniature factory. So if we can reimagine the entire back of the house from its entirety, from first principles, now you have something special. So our approach was, let's reimagine the back of the house. Let's make it fully autonomous. That means you fill the ingredients in the morning as a human being, that's the only job, and you're done. And the machine takes over the entire process of keeping the food refrigerated, of measuring the ingredients, of cooking it, of cleaning it, of serving it to the customers. So us fully autonomous means zero on-site employees.
So, from your perspective, what is machine learning is improving food quality and consistency, right? But how does it do that?
So, we used to call it data science before AI became popular as a term. For us, it's really two purposes. One is predictive maintenance of the machine. We know certain parts after 2,000 uses, the part needs to be replaced. Let's make sure we have inventory on hand. What's the best downtime to make that change? Is the person that's going to make that change available? Let's organize that downtime upgrade for the machine. Same thing like pizza cutting blade. After 3,000 cuts, the blade needs to be sharpened. What's the best time to remove it? Have the backup blade ready. So if you can manage machine in a predictive way, you don't have a downtime. It won't break down. All of a sudden, pizza's not getting cut because you're reacting to it. Machine learning makes us proactive to predict things. So make sure that we have no downtime. The second thing is inventory management, right? There's a storm in Florida, tomato prices are up 300%. Let's pivot to recipes that don't include tomatoes. Chicken's expiring in 24 hours. Hey, chicken pad thai 50% off. We know that so many flights are landing, so many people are going to be walking in front of the machine. We know X number of people will probably order a pepperoni pizza. Let's start making it so by the time they come in front of the machine, the pizza is just coming out so they can get quickly served. So again, predictive machine maintenance, predictive inventory management allows us to make sure that we don't waste food, we don't waste time.
So, you're going down through this. Part of it, though, in the experience of going to a restaurant is the relationship with the server, right? Because you develop that human touch, and you're not going to get it with a robotic arm or just having something open up. How do you keep that personalized? I mean, because the thing I like the best is people remember your name and you come back and they come over to your table and, hey, hi, Gary, how are you doing? It's great to see you again today. Do you want, and literally it happened to me this morning. I went to breakfast, want a vinegar, egg whites, and a turkey bacon. They know exactly what I wanted, right? And they talk to me. I like that. I don't know if I'd be comfortable picking my food up unless I'm, with colleagues, my employees. I would maybe feel comfortable, but it kind of sterilizes the experience that you have of dining. How do you resolve that?
100%. Listen, I don't think that our mission is to resolve that or touch that. I think that's an important part of being a human being. Like I said, we look at the world in two ways. It's split between two. One is experiential dining, right? Like I said, you want to go for your breakfast. Hey, Gary, welcome back. Here's your favorite sandwich. You go there for that experience. You go there with your colleagues. You go there to celebrate your grandparents' birthday or an anniversary with your better half. There's many reasons to go to a restaurant. I go to Michelin star restaurants because it's food as an art. That includes a neighborhood chef, right? There's this that personal touch, that human being connection. I think that's going to become more important. I think that industry is going to become bigger. We've all seen the Netflix shows. We like watching all these chef shows, and we like that experience of watching that art being created.
We
I
like the
personally think,
Nipun. The other thing is we like the dynamics of how they're relating to each other. And when
for
Gordon
sure,
Ramsay's up and is pissed off because the
yeah,
cake is flat or the something's flattened out. I mean, I
yeah.
like that. I think more than even watching the food, it's what the dynamics, right? Of the
Absolutely. So I think that world is going to get bigger. I think, Gary, you're going to spend more time in these places. And I don't think robots will have any impact in that world. It won't have any impact in that world because that's not the point of automation. But I'm almost certain that a big percentage of your meals are consumed either by ordering in, picking up, ordering ahead, or drive through, or an airport when you just want to pick up your stuff and get the hell out of there. There are moments where you don't want that interaction. You want to be quickly served, you want to be reliably served, safely served, consistently served. And that's the other half of the world. I think that part needs to be automated because you want to deliver on value. What if I could give you your favorite Chipotle bowl for half the price and make a bigger profit margin as an operator? So that's the win we create in that functional part of the world. It still requires care in quality of the food. You have an expectation of your favorite brand. In our case, let's say Donato's Pizza, 60-year-old brand, iconic brand, used to be owned by McDonald's, considered the best pizza chain in North America. So
what did you say
when
you're doing, Nippon? What is something was known as what? The best pizza?
so Donato's was acquired by McDonald's in the late 90s. In the
Oh, I
late
didn't know.
90s, McDonald's was buying the number one brands in every category. They bought Chipotle, they bought Donato's Pizza, they bought Pret A Manger, they bought Boston
So
Chicken.
McDonald's own Chipotle today?
No, Chipotle got spun out. It's the second most valuable brand in the world now. And the Grody family in Columbus bought back Donatos. So once McDonald's bought these companies at one point, they realized they're getting distracted, so they sold them
Why
out.
is that, Nipun? That's interesting. Why would they sell it and then buy it back?
Well, they sold it because McDonald's had made a promise, and McDonald's, I think, wanted to diversify. They were worried that people will stop eating burgers with the richest restaurant brand in the world. Let's buy the number one categories and grow them on the McDonald's platform. And around that time, McDonald's stock price started going down. They were getting distracted by brands that are not enough about these were gourmet brands with local fresh ingredients, as opposed to what McDonald's sells. So the fit wasn't there. So the companies got spun out, and the Grody family, looking at this, decided they want to buy it back and put it back as a private company, and they continue running it as a private company. So, not my opinion. McDonald's got the best researchers, paid the most amount of money to identify the best quality pizza chain in the world, and they identified Donato's to be that. So, when we launched our first pizza robot, it was Donato's Pizza by Appetronix in their hometown in Columbus, Ohio. And you don't screw around with the Donato's Pizza with the loyal customer base. We had to deliver on the
They're saying
exact experience.
be stopping around checking it out all the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I can tell you, and you're welcome to go to Terminal B at the Columbus airport. The reaction was overwhelming. People was ecstatic. This is the brand they wanted. This is the pizza they expected. So from the founders, the Grody family, Jim Grody, the founder of Donato's Pizza, brilliant person, brilliant minds on automation. They're very supportive on getting our machines on track, and allowing us to do this in their hometown was a big test for us and their faith in us, and we delivered on that expectation. So when you, as a customer for Donato's or which other brands we launch in the future, have an expectation of what it is, and if our machines can deliver that, and deliver on value, deliver on speed, deliver on food safety, you have it. So that's the word we're going for. We're not disturbing your relationship with your neighborhood brand. In fact, we're encouraging that. I don't think automation will impact that. The rest of it, I think, will be fully automated.
What's the hardest technical problem you had to solve? Food handling, speed, safety, or something else?
So, because we were starting from scratch, we said, what are the perfect restaurant to deliver on? Is it COT emissions? Is it an energy consumption? Is it speed? Is it food safety? And before we can legally, sell food from a machine, we need to have a lot of certifications in place. So,
Mhm.
it was important that we deliver on that because otherwise we can't sell food. So, some of that stuff was just mechanical things we had to do. Then it was about how do we make sure there's consistency. So, for example, the Donato's pizza, they call it edge to edge. That means the sauce and the cheese goes to the very edge. In a medium pizza, there's between 50 to 53 pieces of pepperoni, and we slice the pepperoni real time and place it on the pizza. And while we measure things, we have visual quality control checks. We have a lot of mechanisms to ensure that the pizza is perfect. But there could be a situation where maybe a piece of pepperoni just flew off because it came out too fast. Maybe the sauce was a bit thicker because it was a new batch. Mistakes can be made, even by a
How do
machine.
you states? How do you use a video? Do you use how do you check to make sure that somebody doesn't get a funky pizza? They order cheese pizza, and all of a sudden it comes out it's freaking naked with some jalapenos on it or something.
Yeah.
How do you
So yeah.
problem,
So
right?
we have like numerous quality control checks. So we have at numerous stations, we have cameras that evaluate. That's where AI comes in. It's being trained. At this stage, when you have the sauce, this is what a pizza needs to look like. At this stage, when there's cheese, at this stage, post baking. Plus, we measure how much sauce is coming on by weight. We measure how much cheese is coming on by weight. We look at the distribution of pepperoni and the number of pepperoni slices. So we keep that quality control check. At any point, if something is off for whatever reason, that pizza gets rejected. So there's a rejection locker that the pizza that we don't want to sell go into. We start making a new one. We just ensure every single time that the customers always get the perfect pizza. So we have numerous control measures. We're measuring the temperature to make sure that's also taken care of. So by the time the customer gets it, it's absolutely on point.
How does machine learning improve food quality and consistency over time? What is it doing? What
So
kind of pointers is it doing it itself, or do you have to have is there a hybrid model with human intervention?
So before we launched the concept, we had the cameras train on what's an acceptable pizza and what's not. So it went to thousands of pizzas. So a visual point, we know that cheese has to be brown or blackened to a certain extent. The crust has to be, certainly baked and brown at a certain point. And we can feed the machines. In the beginning, we had to tell the machine this is not acceptable, this is, because a very experienced operator would know that. So we had that training go through the machine learning process for the machine. So after several thousands of machines, the machine kind of understood what is a great pizza, what is an acceptable pizza, what is an unacceptable pizza. So within a certain margin of error, the machine would know that this is an okay pizza. And again, before we launched in the market, we made several thousands of pizzas to make sure what the machine was considering acceptable, we agreed with. So once we were certain that the machine had taken over and was doing a better job than us, we're like, okay, let's release.
How do you think about redundancy and system failure? What happens if something breaks mid-service and you're in the middle of a restaurant? There's nobody there to fix it, right? What do you
Yeah.
do?
So there's a few ways we manage something that can go wrong, and things can always go wrong, right? I can tell you last week there was a big electrical surge at the airport in Columbus. It's never ever happened before. It did, and it blew out our ovens. So when something like this happened, two things happen. A lot of the machine can be fixed remotely. So our team can remotely go in, program certain things. Sometimes, a box, the lid of a pizza can drop on the floor. Dropping a lid is acceptable, carry on making it. Dropping a pizza is not acceptable, pause the machine. So the way we work is we work with operators. So we work with HMS Host, for example, at the Columbus, Ohio airport. HMS Host probably has 100 employees running around. We send them a message, hey, there's something wrong, can you come and take a look at it? So if we are unable to fix it remotely, that person on site will come over, hopefully within 10 minutes, and we can provide instructions. They already have their checklist on what could go wrong, how to fix it. So 99% of the problems are fixed that way. If something goes really big that we didn't expect, like last week, the electrical surge, now we need an on-site engineer to come in. So we have people that can come within 2 hours to see if that happens. But that's for probably 1% of the scenarios. So we have all these checks and balances, different people involved, remote fixing, on-site employees with simple fixing, and then of course escalated to an engineer's requirement that's about 2 hours away.
Let's talk about unit economics. How does an autonomous restaurant compare in traditional QSR margins today? I mean, are they more profitable, less profitable? Can you make more money by automating or not? It would seem to me I think you're right. It's hard to find people to work anymore, right? I know restaurants in California that have been closed down because they didn't have enough employees.
Yeah, and with $20 an hour, you can't find employees. That kind of sucks. So that's the beauty of our concept. A typical restaurant in California would be between 25 to 30% labor costs on sales. That's a big number. Your food costs for a pizza concept, let's say about another 25.
Labor costs like for the waitresses and things when they're getting, they have this strange situation where they get maybe less than minimum, right?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
go back. How do you? Just tell me a little bit about that. It's interesting on the
So
labor.
So we're focusing on quick service, so no waiter service, right? Average KFC, Chipotle, so no waiter service. That's our industry.
Yeah.
So if you look at the labor cost in California, it's between 25 to 30% of your sales. Your rent is about 10% of your sales. You're at 40% in just labor and rent, because that's something that can be changed. So when we look at it, we're like a vending machine. What I have behind me, we don't really pay significant rent here. Our labor costs, we've estimated for our machine that runs 24/7, we require about 4 hours of one human being in total per day. Our labor costs are about 3% of sales. So we've taken a number that's 40 and brought it down to about 5. That's basically the profit margin we're talking about. So the average restaurant makes about 10% margins. We make about 40%. The other thing is cost of the machine. Right now, of course, we're making one-off machines are slightly more expensive. In mass production, this restaurant in a box will cost you 300 grand. The equivalent restaurant will cost you between $1 to $1.2 million. So it's about a third, a quarter of the cost of an actual restaurant, with about 400% more margins. So there's no contest competing with a robotic restaurant versus a traditional restaurant in margins.
What kind of ROI timeline are investors looking for an autonomous restaurant company? What is
So
how
we've
fast?
so we've estimated our ROI on each machine is between 6 months to about 18 months, depending on how high volume we do.
How do customers react when they realize there's no kitchen staff?
So when we launched, I think people were just fascinated by seeing the robots. They'd never seen anything like this before. A lot of selfies. People are stuck on the windows watching everything getting made.
I have a question for you. Do you have robots in the back, but do you also have them in the front that they could talk to the guests? Do you have like, is there some kind of interface? It wouldn't be that hard to do not today, right? But is that something you do because it would be interesting? Like it'd be like one of those pizza places for kids where they have these talking. I mean, people like to interact.
No, absolutely. So think of us like as a big vending machine. So if you see what's behind me, that's what we are. We're really a big vending machine standalone. So you come in, you place your order, you have windows, you can see food getting made. There's interaction, there's a video that's showing you what's happening. And on the side, there's lockers. So when your order is ready, you get a QR code, you pop the locker open, and you go. So coming back to your earlier question, when we first launched, people were just fascinated by seeing the robots. Right now, they cannot interact directly, but you're right, it's coming in the next few versions. But after the first month, when you've seen the robot once and twice, the fascination is gone. A lot of people now order ahead, especially the people that work in the airport. They get 20 minutes off for lunch, so they know that at noon I'm going to be coming by. 11:40, I'm going to order my pizza, so it's going to be ready by the time I get there. So right now, it's people are more concerned about getting the food quickly. The interactions, again, our market, like I said, is order ahead, is delivery, it's takeout. People just want their stuff quickly and get the hell out. That's what we're serving. At one point, you're right. It's easy for us to have an interactive component. We actually have a part of NVIDIA's Inception program. We have access to this great avatar. You can have a conversation with, hey, I'm allergic to this, et cetera, et cetera. And you can actually have this verbal conversation with the machine and understand where your food is in the process and what you like and what you wouldn't. That's going to probably come in version 3 by the end of the year. But right now, you can see the robots, you can see the food getting cooked, you're engaged with the entire process, and you can see everything inside the machine.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself, if you go in there to have that robot cook, what happens if there's a problem? Who do you talk to?
So the
Let's say and they forgot the pepperoni, right? For whatever reason,
yeah,
I'm thinking, I'm visualizing it myself coming up to it. I
yeah.
wouldn't even know who to talk to. What do you do? Do you just like call them helpline and all of a sudden Rosie the robot comes out and serves you? Or what do you, I mean, is there any human intervention in that for complaints? What happens if you get a soda and the water isn't coming out right? The carbonated water is
Right.
not coming out the mix. How do you fix it? I understand if it's running smoothly, it's great, right? People come in for lunch,
Sure,
they get
sure.
the order called in advance. But what happens if there's a problem? Is there some way? When does a human intervention? Does it need to come in, and when does it come in?
So we do it in two ways. There's actually a phone line you can call in case something doesn't seem right. Plus, the communication we do with the customers is by text and by emails. And there is a button over there you can call for customer support. So you do have that online support, the e-support. And also, again, we're in an airport. It's managed by HMSOs. They have 100 employees running around in different terminals. And we can send an escalated message to them, and they'll be with you in the next 5 minutes. So if you really want a human being, 5 minutes. If you want to talk to somebody, instant.
So, what do you think is going to happen? This will be the last question I have, and then we'll wrap it up. Wish I could spend more time with you today because this is a fascinating topic, and I know it's going to happen, right? But how do what's going to happen to some of these traditional franchise giants? Sometimes they're really slow to move, right? They're like pushing a rock up a hill. So, what's going to happen to those companies that don't adapt, right? That don't do this? I mean, are they going to be able to compete because their labor costs? Obviously, the labor costs really shrink up, down. They're
Yeah.
going down through and using these autonomous systems. So how can you can't? I mean, I don't think you can compete if somebody's got a system like this in place. How can they beat you?
Gary, you're 100% right. I think if most of the quick service restaurants don't adapt, they will die. And if you see what's happening in this industry, in the pizza industry, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal a couple of weeks ago. All the big brands, Pizza Hut up for sale, many went bankrupt. It wasn't because of lack of sales, it was profitability and food consistency and quality. To your earlier point, people care about what they get. If they don't get what they want, they stop coming to you. Labor is a problem. Margins are a problem. Food consistency is a problem. Food safety is a problem. And I think because of where we are in the world, because of the availability and quality of labor, I think majority of quick service brands will have to adapt dramatically in a very short period of time. Otherwise, we'll come and eat their lunch. No pun intended.
So I just had Matt Rosenthal. I don't know if you know Matt Rosenthal, but do you know Matt?
From Pizza Hut, yes.
He said I've tried it and it's real. It's a real deal. Um, so Matt's just saying love it, right? So you've got supporters, and David Drinnen just said Matt Rosenthal. I agree. So there's people out. You got some cheerleaders out there for you.
Yeah, no, Matt comes from the pizza industry. He was one of the first few people that went down to see our machine in action. A lot of people have made promises on food robotics and didn't deliver, and the jury was out if we could do it. But Matt comes from the industry, understands automation. I think it was really excited to see that we managed to deliver on it, and he's been a big supporter of the company, and we love Matt for his insights, and he's been a good champion and supporter of the company. But more importantly, he understands what this is all about. I think his mission was to prepare Pizza Hut for this inevitability. Because if you're not prepared for this, you're gonna have a
You're
tough
going to
time surviving.
right? You can't compete. And that's
You
one of the
can't.
things, as we're going down through these models. I'd been in AI for 40 years in Silicon Valley. And, I've been through many, 17 startups myself, a couple of unicorns. I've been through the transition, and people don't understand what's going to happen. I mean, everything's going to change. So one is you've got the ability to be able to serve these pizzas, et cetera. And then you're going to have, Optimus robots come in. They're going to start coming, I mean, like seriously, come up to your table and
Yeah.
serve you in all kinds of ways. I mean, this is not far fetched. It's happening
No.
now, and I know the people that are working on different projects in the area. So it's great. But here's the thing, Nippon. I have we at GSD. I have companies in 73 countries around the world. I have 180 companies inside of my family office's portfolio. The problem is it's hard as heck for Montreal to get people interested in technology like this. And you know it, right? It's difficult. First of all, it's not the easiest place to get to in the world. Sometimes you got to go through Toronto to get up there. But this technology. Another thing you have is speed to market, because this stuff is going to happen, and you may be the first in terms of technology, but you may not get it to market the fastest because it's hard. It's really hard. And so I've seen it, my 40 years in Silicon Valley, I've seen these companies like yours, right, that have incredible ideas, never be able to get it out because
Yeah.
it's tough. How do you plan to, and I'm not asking for any secrets on the side, but, I'm in Palo Alto and also in Palm Beach in Florida. And, Silicon Valley is the heart where this stuff takes place, like it or not, good, bad, or different, especially now with robotics and Elon, right? Everybody's talking about Optimus and this kind of thing. It's going to happen. How do you do that? How do you bridge that gap to make it move faster?
See, let's talk about pizza. Zoom Pizza raised $400 million pre-seed to launch a fully autonomous pizza kitchen. Spent 7 years, couldn't do it. We launched our pizza robot in about $1.5 million in 14 months. That's how fast and efficient we are. Today, we're backed by some of the most powerful venture caps in the US. We have celebrity chefs like Tom Colicchio, and we have the Grody family offices that came in to support us. So, as a tiny Canadian company that could do things 500% faster, cheaper, and better, I think everybody's taken notice. We were first in market to launch that. We remain first right now. But to your point, we need to keep our speed going. We've proven what we can do, but can we scale this up? Can we scale this up globally? So that's basically our mission. We're a Canadian company right now. All our business is in the United States. We're going to be in the Middle East and Europe and Asia by the end of this year. So we are planning to move fast. We have the right backers. We have the right partners. And I think with the right team.
No, that's great. If you want to stay on after the show, if you want to speak for a few minutes, we can talk. I
You
really
bet.
appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule, and I think it's amazing. So, what you're building isn't just automation; it's infrastructure for the future of food. The intersection of robotics, AI, and operational excellence is creating an entirely new category. We're watching the operating system of dining being rewritten in real time. And Nippon, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. And thanks to all the audience out there for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. And as always, stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. We will be back to you again soon with another exciting edition of GSD Presents Top Global Startups. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. And my family office, the Fowler family office, presents these. We have 180 companies in our portfolio representing 73 countries around the world today. So, to all of you out there, it's not about the idea, it's about getting it out to market as fast as you can. Nipun, thanks for taking your time. And if you want to stay on, as I said, you can stay on for a few.
Thank you, Gary. A real pleasure.
Thank you.